All right, so let's take a look at this. List hands-on practice. So the first thing, this was a group assignment. You can either do it on your own or as in a group. You want to label the assignment 3list.html. So that's what I'm going to call it. And it's literally going over what we did in the presentation. The unordered list, UL, the ordered list, OL, and the definition list, DL. So for each one, I'm asking a different thing. So the first one I'm asking, you can create an HTML page that includes an on-order list of their favorite fruits. Each fruit should be a list item within the UL. All right, so that's our first clue here. And I have this little example down here that you can look at. So we have our basic page set up, document type, HTML, head, title, body, and then we have our first one, UL. So we say the list item, which will be fruit, I think I said, and list item, and then we close our UL. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna open a document here. I'm gonna open a text document. On your computer, it will be Notepad. My computer, it's text edit. I don't see it open. Let me just open something else. If I have something that I can open with text edit. All right, so here's text edit. I'm just gonna open a new document and close it, and I'm gonna make this fit on the screen here. All right, so first thing we need to do is establish what type of document this is. So again, we're gonna go angle bracket, and then we do exclamation point, and we're gonna write out doc type. It can either be caps or lowercase, it doesn't matter. The doc type doesn't have to be uppercase or lowercase. But our tags always have to be lowercase. So I'm gonna start off, so I say my doc type HTML, and then so I say so now that I know what my document type is, I have to start giving the browser information. So first thing it's looking for is an HTML tag because this is an HTML document. So I have HTML, and then the next thing I want to do is I want to establish the information that's for my browser. So I'm going to type in my head tag, and this is just like the example I had at the bottom of the page right there. I'm just doing it again right now. So I have my head tag, and inside my head tag, I want to establish my title. Right, so I have to have a title or this page won't open. So I'm going to title this 3 lists dot, I'll just call it, I'll title it 3 lists, and then I'll do that later with my actual saving the file as 3list.html. So I have my title, and now notice I have 2 tags. I have my first tag for my title and my second tag for my title. You always have to have 2 tags unless it's an empty tag, and we'll talk about that later on. Next thing I need is to close out my head tag, head, right? Close that out. And so now I have my HTML, I have my doc type first, I have my HTML, I have my head tag, which is information for the browser, and we'll have other things in that later on, but right now all we have in there is their title. And then after that, my head is above my body, so just like in real life, I'm gonna add in my body tag. All right, so I have my body tag, and anything in the body is what's visible on the web page. So the head tag we're writing just for the browser, and that's why it's above the body tag, because the browser has to read it first. Now we're writing for the person who's viewing the website, and that goes in the body. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add a headline here. So I'm going to add an H1 just to keep my page organized, and I'm going to title this unordered list. All right, and I have my H1 there. What do I need to do after I type out H1? I'll give you a clue. Oops, I'll give you a clue. So I'm going to close it out, H1, so I have that closed out. So the next thing I want to do is I want to look at that first task, which is task 1, and I'm going to add in an unordered list. So what is an unordered list? Can anyone tell me If you remember what the unordered list is, so the unordered list, if you don't know, is a list that is not with a numerical or Roman numeral or alphabetical order. Right? So I'm writing unordered list, and then inside my list, I'm going to write my list item. So list item li. All right? For my list item, I'm going to type in my favorite fruit, which is an orange. And then I close out my list item with an li. So I'm going to keep doing that and to get all of my list items in there. And then at the end of my unordered list, I got to close it out, because without doing this, it's not going to show up on my web page. So I have multiple list items in there, and then I have my UL. Right? Next thing I want to do, I want to have another headline. So I'm just going to copy this first one, and I'm going to paste it underneath. And I'm going to title this one, the second one, ordered list. Right? It'd be nice if this was an H2. I can do that since we have been learning how to do our headlines. So my first one's H1, my second one's H2, and you could do the third one as H3, or you can have them all as H1, which is how I'm doing it. So next thing I want is an ordered list. So I'm going to go OL, and I'm going to do my ordered list. So it's just like how I did the first one. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in there, list item. But instead of list items, this one, I'm going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So first thing I need is bread. All right? So I got my list item, bread, and I'm going to make my peanut butter jelly sandwich, do all the steps. And again, I have to close out my ordered list now. So I'm going to close out my ordered list with an OL, right? /OL. Right, so now I'm going to add some space in between here so I can see it a little bit better. Unordered list and order list. And remember, I don't have to worry about the gaps or the enters that I'm hitting. I can lay this out however I want. Remember, because we have white space collapsing, so when it views it, it doesn't view it with all these gaps. It only views the code with one space around it. Right, so last one I'm going to paste in my tag, my headline. And this one is going to be a definition list. Right, so definition list. And I'm going to click here. So it says what the tag is for that. And I'm going to write DL. And remember, my definition list is a little bit different than the previous one. I have my definition list, but inside of it, I no longer have that LI. So that LI is just for the ordered list and the unordered list. Unordered list meaning bulleted list. Ordered list meaning alphabetical, Roman, or numerical list. So for my definition list, I have different terms. I have a definition term, which is a vocabulary term, and then I have a definition description. So for these, I'm going to need my terms. So I think this should be HTML terms. So I'm going to do an HTML term of JavaScript. And I gotta always remember to close out my tags. So I'm gonna do DT, right? And then for the definition description, I'm just gonna go and search on Google JavaScript definition. And I'm gonna get a nice definition here, an object-oriented computer programming language. So I'm going to paste this in right here. I have to be careful doing this in pasting stuff into my text pad on Mac, because it becomes rich text if I don't type it, and I'll have to go and convert this back to just regular text. But I have this in here. So again, I have to close out my definition tag. So again, how do I do it? You guys should know this by now. I'm just going to click the /dd, close it out. So I have my definition list. And then going back to the top, I still have to close out the top tags that I had. haven't closed my HTML tag or my body tag, so I gotta make sure that those are in there. My body tag, so I do my slash body, right, and my slash HTML. I hope, oops, I didn't do my slash. All right, and this looks pretty good. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing this well. So if I start at the top, I have my document type HTML. Start with my HTML document, and then I go into my head tag, my title tag, which is for my browser. Then my body tag is everything that's visible. And I went through all of these, my unordered list, order list, and definition list, and I ended it down here with my body and my HTML. So I want you to start working on that and get that done. So go ahead and submit it as a 3list.html. But anyway, all right, go ahead and save that and submit.